Alia Jamal, the Heart Mentor, and today we are back with our weekly workshop. Today's topic is very exciting. It's going to be so much fun, and I know that you're going to walk away with a very clear pathway to how to collapse time and expand the possibilities in your life. So that is the topic today, learning to collapse time and expanding the possibilities in your life. Now, if this is the first time you're hearing about this concept, your brain is going to have a very hard time. It would try to say, how's that possible? Time is very linear. How can you collapse it? So the work we are going to do today is going to be more into our heart because collapsing time happens only from your heart. It does not happen from your mind because your mind would tell you how linear the time is, but that is not true. You can do anything that you want when you're fully in your heart. So before we jump into the details of it, how to do it, what stops us from going there, let me just share a little bit of my experience with collapsing time. This is something I learned, I believe, back in 2019. That is when I got introduced to the work of the heart. I was learning so much about the world of the heart. And there would be times where I would feel like, what's even real? Because you start to see the the reality right in front of your eyes shifting in such a fascinating way that you start to realize, yes, we truly live in a matrix, or it truly is a reality that can be shifted. So one of the things I learned was how to speed up time and then how to slow down time, which I don't share with my clients until they really, really need it or they are at that high level, because it does require a lot of focus, presence, being in your heart and not being attached to anything. And also, it is a little bit difficult on your body. After that, you get really tired because now you're really playing with the matter. That is not something I'll be teaching today, but I will be sharing how you can shorten it. And that is something I experience in my life day in, day out. Give me a goal. Once I have it in front of me, I can shorten time. I have made things possible anywhere from 30 minutes to 24 hours. And I would say the biggest one was manifesting the other part of my soul. I gave myself a year and he was here within 9 months. How I did it, that is exactly what I'm about to share with you. Now, one of the things about being a human is we are conditioned so deeply that life is hard, life is difficult, time is running away, you're getting old, especially for us women, your biological clock is ticking, and we carry that heaviness, and that's why you're stuck in time. You're not able to play with it. You're not really able to enjoy what it really means to be a human. But outside of that, there are some very specific blocks that exist that if you don't remove them, whatever I'm teaching you or whatever you're learning from anywhere else, not really going to gel with you unless these things have been shifted. So we will be talking about a little bit the process and what it is, but we will be talking about the three blocks. And we'll be talking about three elements or three conditions or what needs to happen for you be able to the master of your own time. Um, so we'll jump right in. I want to talk a little bit about manifestation. In today's day and age, we look at manifestation as this woo-woo thing. I would tell you there's another word for manifestation that humanity has known all along, and that is ask God. It's called pray to God. Ask for what you need. It has always been there. Now we have a title to it, manifestation. People say, oh, I manifested this, or I'm manifesting this, or this is my manifestation practice. We're praying to the same power. We're receiving from same power. The difference is, I would say, the blessing of today's day and age, or you call it technology, where we have collapsed our world, where we can learn from teachers all over the world. The blessing of that is now we have learned what stops from my prayer to be heard. And what can I put in place for them to be heard quickly? And my friend, I can tell you this, as no matter what spiritual, religious background you come from, the moment you say, God, give me this, it's given to you right away. It's exactly like this. You push the button, you order from Amazon, it's been delivered to your door. Now, the gap is you getting off your couch, opening the door, and picking up the package and unpacking it. That is where most of us, we are stuck. We don't do that because we don't know that, that is what's required of me. We just know, pray to God and everything will be fine. As soon as you pray to God, everything is fine. But that fine does not translate into your physical reality because you're not doing your part. And that is not something that you're going to learn in a masjid. That is not something you would learn in a church. That is not something you learn in synagogue or a temple. That is something you would learn when you'll become curious and you will go and discover and search and find out on your own. And maybe this workshop is here, part of that blessing coming into your life where you had this question and here I am sharing this with you. And that is the thing that used to frustrate me a lot, that why we are not being taught um, the complete picture. And then my frustration kind of faded away because not everybody's ready for it. If you're not ready for it, you won't be able to receive this information. And when we are not ready to receive a specific energy, it's actually detrimental to our vessel. So it's not helpful. So whatever you benefit from today, if you go and practice it, I would not recommend go start preaching it to people. Just share with them, this is what I do, and this is what I have learned, and this works, and let them be curious and come to you. And that is when they will really benefit from it. So now we know manifestation is just asking and then opening yourself to receiving it. Now, how do we speed up the process? Speeding up the process requires being fully in your heart. And most of us are not in our heart, at least not all the time. This is the work I do. I call myself the Heart Mentor. That is the title given to me by my guides at the moment. And that is what I'm being shown. That is what I'm studying, even on a deeper level. And I can tell you, I don't stay in my heart all the time. There are moments I find myself in my mind, and then all you need to know how to descend into your heart and try to be there as much as you can. Then your kid is gonna come show you something, they will be screaming, you'll be worried about them, you'll be back in your head. But then knowing how to come back into your heart is what really speed up the process of whatever you desire. Why? Being in your heart is equal to you finally open the door. You got off your couch and you finally open the door. Heart is the doorway to the endless world. That is your soul. Whatever you ask, you cannot ask it unless it already exists for your soul. That is where your mind is going to have very hard time. So let me just draw this for you. For some of us who are more visual, it is helpful. So let's say this is me, right? Right here. And let's say this is my soul. Our body does exist inside of our soul energy. And these are all the energies that are available to me, let's say, in this lifetime. And maybe some of them I did not use up in the last time, they are all here. This could be a 10-bedroom mansion. This could be like, a Bugatti. This could be a life-changing body of work. This could be amazing children. So now I'm here sitting there and I'm like, it'd be really nice to have a big home. Like really big home. I mean, I do have 4 kids, so for 4 kids, you do need a big home, right? I think I desire it, but that is not true. Whatever your desire is, whether it is that you want to go to Hawaii this summer and you don't have the money, but you're trying to manifest the money, or you're looking for the other part of your soul and you're not really finding that person yet. You've been looking, looking, looking. You have found all the other ones, but not that person. No matter what it is, the only reason you could desire it, because it already exists in your field. The only way you can actually order from Amazon, because there is a credit card that is saved there that has the money, and that is when they deliver. What happens when if you have a debit or credit over limit, it gets denied. You don't like things don't get delivered. If it's getting delivered, how? You already have something you're drawing from. If you have a desire, now this is a very important part. If this is not getting in there, then that could be your biggest manifestation block and to collapse time. So if I can desire a house, it already exists for me. Now, am I asking something new or am I asking something that is already mine? You see the difference? I'm asking something that is already mine. When we put things on layaway, I don't know about other countries, but in US we have this beautiful system used throughout the holidays that you can put stuff on layaway. Let's say something is $300, you can pay them $100, put it on layaway, and next month you come pay them another 100, another 100, and when the whole payment is done, you can take it home, right? So when that thing is on the layaway, you already know it's yours. No one can take that away from you. And the stores, I used to work in Macy's, and stores, they have a separate rack for layaways during holidays. No one else can buy that. That's already yours. So this house is already mine. It's already mine. If I can desire it, it's already mine. It's already part of my soul's abundance. So now imagine whatever you ask, you're like, well, it's already mine. That's why I'm able to ask. Now that is the part that we are not taught. That is the part you're not taught. That's why we feel greedy, we feel too much, we feel unworthy, we judge ourselves, we feel resentful towards ourselves. Like, why do you need all these things, right? But if you can desire it, you can only desire it because it already exists for you. What happens when we desire out of comparison? And we do that as human, we do that all the time. We see someone wearing something nice and we're like, I want that too. Not because it's our sole desire, because we want to impress other people. So that is not where you'll be able to collapse time, my friend. It needs to be a clear, pure vessel, a clear channel for this soul abundance to come into your life. So whenever you want something and you want to shorter the period of time that it comes to you, this is one thing. It already exists in your soul field. Now, the second thing that I want to share with you is, so these are the concept before we even get into it. These are different possibilities that exist for you for the next moment. And there are millions and millions of possibilities. When you say, I want a big house, you have tuned into a very specific possibility. So maybe this is a possibility where you're living on rent in a very small apartment. And this line over here is where you can have it. You can have a big place that is all paid for, all expenses paid for. All you gotta do with collapsing time is you jump from here to here. That is a jump in your consciousness. That is not a physical jump. Please don't jump around in your home. Say, I'm trying to collapse time. This is a jump in the level of your consciousness, the way you think. You cannot think like the conditions that are given to us. You gotta think like the heart and the soul. That's why I teach what I teach. When you start thinking like the way your soul thinks, your life starts to expand in such a beautiful way because what is happening, you start to align with your soul's reality. Your soul's reality is very different than the reality you're conditioned into. And most of us, we stay stuck to the reality that we are in because our loyalty, our unconscious loyalty to our parents' timeline. Especially for us women, we are unconsciously loyal to our mom's timeline. So our marriage looks just a little bit better than hers. Our financial situation looks just a little bit better than hers. But our inner environment looks just like her. So when you start to desire or start to think the way your soul think, you will stop thinking the way your mom taught you to think. What does our mom usually teach us to think? Be a good girl, be considerate of other people, don't be too much, accommodate other people, always give. All of them are heart blockers if they are not positioned in a proper way. And then you are stuck in a reality and you're saying, I'm working so hard, I'm hustling, I'm doing this. Why can't I get ahead in my life? And where is my soul's abundance? Well, your soul abundance is waiting outside of your door because you've been asking for it, but you don't know how to open the door. How do we open the door? One of the things we learned, I can only ask what's already mine, and it's a consciousness jump. And whenever you want something, like, let's say if I want something, in fact, just right now, I gave myself about 24 to 48 hours for a specific reality, right? So it's not that I'm gonna sit there and go through these one by one. When it becomes part of who you are, it becomes your practice. You just connect with that version of you, that timeline that already has it. And I'll show you in a bit what else to do. But I wanted to get these two concepts, that it's a consciousness jump and you're asking from a bank that's already yours. You're not taking from other people. And it is going to require you to change the way you were taught to think. So the three blocks that stop you from receiving things faster. Um, Actually, before I go to that, I want to address something that does exist in spiritual community. So I grew up as a Muslim. I'm still a Muslim, even though some people think otherwise. Um, One of the things we were taught that, all your unheard prayers, they will be given to you on the, like, when you're in heaven. So don't feel bad when your prayer is not heard because it's a blessing waiting for you in the future. And I'm very curious. I like to understand how the universe works, how God is, like, what is the metaphysical aspect of all of it? Let's just put it that way. And what I learned, the deeper I went into it, I learned God is not holding anything from us. We hold things from ourselves because we don't know how to open the door. And yes, there are some things, even in my life, I've been asking, and they are not coming true. And I'm not pissed at God anymore. I used to be in the past. I was like, how could you do this to me? How you're not hearing my plea and I'm asking, isn't that what we're supposed to do? We have had that kind of conversation. I'm sure we all adults, when you go through that very squeezed moment, we lose it. And in those moments, I believe God looks at us and just smiles like, I gave it to you. So I understood that even the things that right now I am working on, let's say manifesting or collapsing time, it's not happening because I am still blocked. And if you don't understand you are blocked, you will never work on those blocks and you will never get to the other side. So I am working on those blocks. That's why I do work with my mentor so I can clear those blocks. So if you grew up with this concept that all your unheard prayers are waiting for you in the future, my friend, you can have all that right now. God wants to give you so much. Your soul is so rich. in health, wealth, and love and relationships that you can't even comprehend. And there's no amount of more that you can have that will drain your soul's bank account. Our job is to have more, to ask for more, and share it. A lot of people don't ask for more because they think it's greedy. Our job is take more, receive more, and share it. Whether it's your skill, whether it's your money, whether it's your love, everything we are here to do is to share. And that is where most of us get, stuck. We go into either giving, sharing and giving are two different things. And now I just realize I'm getting into a tangent. Let's get back to that would be a different class. Let's get back to the three blocks. First one is identity gap. Now I'm here, let's say single or living in this small home, and then I'm dreaming of this big house. I'm not her. I have never lived in such a big place. For example, when I was working on meeting the other part of my soul, I have never been in a healthy relationship. I have never seen a healthy man. So I had no idea what that could be like. So how do we collapse time when we don't even know who that person is? When you realize, that's why I showed you the two things I showed you. When you realize the other possibility exists parallel to you, she is already here. She's not somewhere in the future. She's not somewhere in the ethers. She's right here, right now with you. And I'm going to take you through a practice where I'll have you meet with that part of you. And maybe you two can become friends and start writing each other love letters. And that is how you can collapse time too. Realizing that there's no identity gap. You are a tree, and that version of you is just another branch. And when you look at that branch, when you start getting closer to that branch, you can merge the two energies. So this timeline gets merged into this new timeline. And that is when you jump the consciousness gap. Now, the second one is, which is a very human thing, is contradicting energies. That is when you want this, but then you don't want this. Want this is very conscious, don't want this is very unconscious. That is when you want the love of your life, but your heart is closed. You're so afraid of getting rejected. And I understand, my friend, that is very deep and hard work to do. I have been through that journey myself. I know it seems very easy, just open your heart, but it requires a lot of deeper work that I facilitate for women. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. So you realize when I say, oh, I want this home, but then I'm just thinking where the money is going to come from. That means my heart is closed to receive that abundance. I'm so stuck in the how. So that is a contradicting energies. One of the term my mentor used for it, oh, I completely forgot, but I want to draw it out for you. I want you to understand how the universe works. So again, let's say this is me here. And this is, let's say, my conscious mind. My conscious mind is saying, want a big home, a big, beautiful home, right? That is what I want. Now, my unconscious mind is saying, how am I going to pay for it? How am I going to clean it? How am I going to take care of it? Oh my God, the taxes are going to be really high. If I want to live in North Jersey, forget about the taxes will be so high. Maybe I get a lot of money, I buy it. How am I going to maintain it? That is the unconscious mind, right? The universe receives the strongest signal. If my desire for it is this small, but my resistance, which is a contradiction energy, is so big, universe receives this signal. And the matter folds around your reality to make that your reality. Now tell me, where in here is God holding things back from you? God has given you everything the moment you ask, my friend. I know it is very difficult for us to digest, especially if you grew up in a very specific spiritual or religious mindset, it is very hard for you to understand, but this is how universe works. Try it. Play with it. See your reality transform, and then you'll feel so grateful that God gave you access to the secrets of the universe. That is how I feel. I had a desire to learn the secrets of the universe, and that's what I do day in, day out. I've been doing that for many, many years now. So the strongest signal is received. You want to get married, but then you're afraid, what if you get divorced? That fear is the stronger signal. So you're not going to get the love of your life because you're afraid of receiving it. And once again, my friend, I do understand this is very difficult work. It's much easier to say it. But when I was doing that work and the day of my wedding and the fear coming and moving through it, I tell you, it's not easy, but it is doable. Because when you stretch yourself to become this version that does not have contradicting energy, that is when you reveal so much of your soul's light within you. Because now you're truly aligned with your soul. You're not aligning with your ego that wants to stay small and that wants to control. So the next one is the third block is unfelt worthiness. So this is the level of worthiness. If you ask most highly accomplished women who have a decent bank account, maybe have a home of their own, you ask them about worthiness, they're like, no, I don't have any worthiness issues. You can look at my life. I have no problem receiving. Let me show you how the unworthiness issues show up. They apologize for what they want. They explain their desires. This is how it will sound like if it's you or if it's one of your girlfriend. I'm planning to go for vacation to Hawaii, right? I'm just assuming where you live, that is a bigger vacation. I know going from North America, that's a bigger vacation than like, going to Washington, D.C., much smaller vacation. And the next thing she'll say, I work really hard. I decided that I'm going to give to myself. What was that right there? Explanation, justification. You see a friend getting, one of those 5,000, 10,000 bags, and then they're like, yeah, I decided I'm going to start loving myself and I'm going to start giving to myself. Why did she had to say that? That is a person who has not, like, they are trying to be worthy, but they don't really feel it from every single cell of their body. It can also look like they can manifest and then they self-sabotage. They just got into a really nice relationship and then the whole thing fell apart. They got a really amazing job and after a year they got laid off. They just lost all the weight and then they got sick and they gained it right back. Um, so that self-sabotage loop, when you find yourself in that, when you apologize for your want, when you feel like you don't want to be too much of inconvenience for everyone, when you feel like you need to explain because you need to explain, that is unfelt worth. That is where a divine is not fully aligned within you. And that is something I teach in the Divine Self program. If you're interested in working through this block, you can always reach out to me and I can share you the details about it. The way the energy comes and become whatever you want it to become, it moves through you, from you. There are four ways we can manifest, four levels we can manifest or experience life. One is where you're the victim. Second is where you understand things happening for you. Third is things happen through you. And the fourth one is things happen from you. And right now I'm working on getting to the from you part. I'm still mostly in the through you. So that is when you can get blessings or whatever you want, but you cannot hold it. Holding happens when you can understand it happens from me. God has given me 100% power of creating my experience as a human. Some parts you might not understand. There are some parts where when I don't understand, I ask my mentor, I learn more. I'm like, oh, okay, that is what's happening there. Most of the reality, I'll say 99.999%, you can understand it. And if you go higher, you can understand the rest. But these three blocks, they keep you stuck in your current reality in a very linear time, and you're not able to collapse it. Now, let's see what are the three elements that can help you collapse time. And that is what I use. First one is be 100% in your heart. How do we stay 100% in your heart? Let's say I want something. I'll go back to having that house, right? Another thing is when you want to collapse time, you work only on one thing at a time. You cannot be working on, I'm going to move to a different state, I'm attracting the love of my life, and I also want to get a new job. That is, with practice, you can do multiple things. I have manifested multiple things at a time or collapse time on multiple things. You can't do that when your nerves can handle that level of focus. But if you're new to collapsing time, focus one thing at a time, it will happen so much faster. So we keep our heart wide open when you're not judging yourself for wanting that, or you're not judging anything about it. For example, a lot of people, they want a lot of money, they want to be rich, but at the same time, they judge rich people. Not happening. Your heart is not open to that. It's comparison. Remember in the beginning, I mentioned a lot of people, they want things because they saw someone else having it. Now they want to have it so they can impress other people. So that's coming from ego, not from your heart. No comparison, no guilt for wanting it, having it, desiring it, no shame. When we go into like, oh, that is such a shame that I want this big home and why can't I settle for less? No, you can't have that. Fear of any kind, resentment of any kind, regret of any kind. I know there's one more in my heart, 8 heart blocks that I teach in Unlocked Heart. Again, if you want to learn this, come join Unlocked Heart. Next one is starting in September. So these elements cannot be there. So when I am focusing on collapsing time for something, I usually give myself 42 to 70 hours to tune into it. And once I'm fully tuned, then I just have to sustain that. And I'll show you how. So one is heart wide open, no blocks. And it's not hard. It is very easy. You can do it. If you want to learn more, reach out to me. Second one is connecting with new field. So I'll show you in the visualization how you do that. But this is a consciousness jump. You're connecting with the person who's already in that beautiful relationship. You're connected with the person who's already living in that amazing home. You're connected with the person who already has the healthy body. And we don't bring the how. How is not your job. That is God's job. That is the universe job to bring the particles together, to bring the opportunity, to make that person move into your area. That is God's job. When I became single, my current husband was not even living in this area. He moved in this area after 2 years. So my job was to focus. This is what I want. It's universe, God's job to bring everything for you. That is where most of us struggle. We're like, but how it will happen? And we start calculating if I save this much this month and if I do this and then I can do it. My friend, that is an amazing way to manifest your life. A lot of people do that, but there is another way, and that is this one. And once you start living with this one, you don't want to go back to the logical way of existing and calculating everything and how it's going to happen. You can pull the energy from the field around you because it's already yours. The last one is hold the feeling till you get it. Again, that is very, very difficult because what happens? You can hold it for a week and you're like, what happened? He didn't show up. I went to another date. That was a disaster. What's the point? Or the houses are just getting more expensive. One of my friends just had to file, like, like, what is it when the bank takes away your home? I forgot what that is called. So you just look around all the things that are wrong and you go flat. If you want to collapse time, you hold that frequency, my friend. Feeling is the frequency because every time you're holding that frequency, you're sending a strong signal to the universe. There's someone standing there listening to you. There are particles that are receiving that vibration and coming together. It is so beautiful to witness when I am working on something and how amazing it all comes together. My husband saw me between December and January manifest a reality within 6 weeks. And it was one thing him hearing it from me, but when he saw it happen, then he was like, okay, I get it. This all works. So it's so much easier to get him on board when I want to create crazy, beautiful things. So let's go to the visualization. That is where all this will come together for you. So just take a deep breath. If you need a little bit more grounding, just do 3 to 4 deep inhale and deep exhale. And now bring your presence inside of your heart. And if you have never been into your heart, just imagine what is underneath your hand. Bring all of your awareness there. Now think of what do you want? One thing. Don't think a whole life. One thing that you want. And now imagine how would it look like? What is that picture or image or reality? Where are you? Who's around you? Connect with the whole scenario centrally. Because the more senses you bring in there, the more you're telling your body, be ready for the jump. And when you can fully feel that reality in your body, so it could be being in that beautiful home. I will use the example of the home. You're walking through the kitchen, maybe you're cooking in that amazing big kitchen, you're sitting on your porch, sipping your coffee. How does it really feel? And now imagine how does it feel in your body, in her body, that your future self, or if you have leaned into that home and you're present there, how does your body feel being in that home? Is there any contraction somewhere in your body? Maybe in your shoulders, in your stomach, in your chest. Pay attention to that area and just gently breathe into that area. Your body's just showing you where the energy blockages are where the beliefs are hidden or stored. So one by one, check your whole body till your whole body feels light. And now ask yourself, how does it feel? What is the name? It could be a sentence, it could be a word, it could be just, oh, it feels peaceful. And just connect to that feeling. That feeling is your dialing number to this very specific reality. Now come back to your current body, be in this moment, and connect with the same feeling. If it was joy, can in this moment you bring in joy? You can focus on that reality. You can focus on that person. You can focus on how it felt to be in that home and connect with joy. And you can open your eyes. Now, your job is to stay connected to that joy. You can either stay focused on that reality that brought you joy, or you can just be wherever you are and just dial into joy. Now, the more joy you send, the faster it collapses. When I am working on something, I try to keep my schedule as clear as possible. And then I stay tuned into that as if it has already happened. It's already mine. and I'm already feeling that feeling. That sustained frequency, that is what makes the consciousness jump. That is where the particles move and you collapse time and you go there. So I'll just recap. There are three blocks to the identity, there are three blocks to collapsing time. One is identity gap. The second one is contradicting energy. The third one is unfelt worthiness. And the three elements we need to make it happen, one is being in the heart. So if you have hard time coming into your heart, I highly, highly, highly recommend joining us for Unlocked Heart. The next one is starting in September. Reach out to me. Connecting with the now field, like without the how. It already exists. That's why in the beginning I showed you what is the truth of our own existence, and then holding the feeling. Few things you can do depending on if it's a big ask or a small ask, whatever it is. You can even write letters to that version of you, that one, the one who's living in that house or who's already in a happy relationship. You can write physical letters back and forth. Write a letter, read it as her, what she's saying to you. What you're doing, you're cleaning up the energy in between. That's one way, that's one thing you can do. You can also have a physical object that you hold on to or you touch it while you tune into the feeling. So what I personally did, because for me the biggest one was calling in the other part of my soul. So I wore a ring and I would touch the ring. Every time I will touch the ring, I will say, I'm already happily married. Even though, like, you get a no-show, you go on a date and you get, like, stood up, nobody shows up, you get ghosted, and I'll just smile and go, I'm already happily married. So, what it was doing, it was helping me stay connected to that reality. And that is what collapsed time. So, um, I am trusting that whatever we learned today, it has been helpful for you. And what I will request to you, my friend, go play with time. Do not believe it takes this many years to do this. The level of healing I have done within me, it usually takes anywhere from 20 years to 25 years. It took me 4 years. How did I do it? Focus. I focused on one area within me at a time. How would a different version of me look like? And that is how you can collapse. That is how you can create. But the most important thing is done from your heart. Because if you're in your mind wants to know how. There's no how, my friend. How is not your job. Your job is to direct the energy to where you want to go. So with that, we are coming to a conclusion. I'll see you next Thursday. And if you're ready to go deeper into creating a very different reality for you, go to my website, aliajamalcoaching.com, and I would love to be your guide on your journey to living from your heart. Sending you so much love, and I'll see you later. Bye.